Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I love art journaling. And we have Keenan here. Keenan.
Hello.
He's our art cheerleader.
Yes.
Hype man and camera guy.
Yeah.
And he just does a lot of things, really cool things here at Let's Make Art.
A lot of weird things.
No, he does really cool things.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to do a fun project called Drawing on Impermanence in our journal.
Ooh.
We're going to play around with some, thank you, some textures and this really fun pencil. If you are a subscriber, then you already probably know about our prompts and our technique cards, but if you're new here, I want to tell you about how that works.
I've been excited about that tree.
Yeah, you're getting excited?
This whole time.
It's going to be good.
I know.
I mean, I hope I can do it again.
You can. We believe in you.
So we get these prompt cards and these technique cards, and there's a couple more, you know, with all the projects that we get here. And you can mix them and match them. So the prompt one is just something to think about as you're creating, and the techniques are like, you know, how to achieve some of these projects. So sometimes it makes sense to mix them up. You can do whatever you want. Today we're going to do, the prompt is called Impermanence, and the technique is called Drawing on Impermanence. Because, you know, it felt right.
Yeah, teamwork. That's what we call that, teamwork.
All right, so let me tell you about the supplies we're going to use that you can get that handy. You may have some Yes Paste in a little container like this. That is great. I just go for the big guy these days. This Yes Paste is acid-free, it's slow drying, repositionable, water soluble, all the things that I love, and good paste. We're going to use Gesso. I'm just using this little guy from Dina Wakley because it's easy to carry around, but you could, you know, go for the big jar as well. We're going to use fuchsia, cheddar, and apricot. We're also going to use this Create-A-Color Monolith Woodless Graphite Pencil, which is a 4B.
4B.
Yeah.
That's 4 Bravo.
Yes. Now, I have talked in the past about this 2B Lyra. If you have one of those laying around, you can use that too. The thing that I like about this one is I can get a little finer lines with it, and it's not quite as heavy as far as the darks go because it's a lighter lead. And then, okay, so I talked about the paint. Oh, and these are the paint swatches for those colors, but we can make all kinds of fun secondary colors too. Mixing the apricot, fuchsia, and marine. I forgot the marine. Good thing I'm looking at this. Where's our marine? There it is.
Found it. First try.
There we go. So fun. Okay, and then I like to use this round 8 brush, which is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. You might want to have an X-Acto or scissors nearby to cut out this from our collage paper. A palette knife for smoothing around the gesso and for gluing is great. If you have journal clips, that's nice to keep your pages down. And if you want to be able to cut straight, a ruler is great. Huh. And I think, and a little bit of water and some paper towels.
That was a great rhyme. I don't think you noticed it.
Oh, did I rhyme?
Yeah. A ruler is great.
If you want to cut straight. Oh, I didn't even know. You're so good. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. So I like to tell you what the supplies are, read the prompt, and then we'll set a little intention, okay? Our prompt for today, Impermanence, says, let's take some cues from nature, considering the idea of impermanence. When you think of a tree during different seasons, what comes to mind? Can you find the beauty in each season because of its transitory nature? Try capturing this in your journal. So you can follow along with me and make this tree just how I made it, or you can make it even more spring or summer or winter or whatever. But I just love the idea that we're doing in this theme, which is all about wabi-sabi. And I think this goes right along with that. So just being okay with the idea of impermanence and being mindful of what's happening like right now, which is kind of cool.
It is cool.
Okay, so that's our prompt. And I like to set an intention when I'm creating and just congratulate you on showing up. That's the first step, and making time for your creative practice, whatever that looks like. So good job. Also, I just like to take a deep breath. So if you want to take a deep breath with me, roll your shoulders maybe, whatever you got to do to like be calm. Sometimes I like to have a cup of hot tea next to me when I'm painting at night at home.
Just next to you?
well, next to me. Even if I forget to drink it, I can smell it. Like
it smells nice. It's peaceful. Tea makes you feel warm inside.
It does. And my husband teases me because I have like different cups of tea and various degrees of situation. So because it's like I don't drink it at the optimal temperature. It's usually too hot. So then I wait, and then it's not hot enough, and then so
you've got a system.
Yeah, it's all this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I finish a cup of tea like very often. That's why I'm like, near me. It's good to have it near me. Anyway, nobody wants to hear about my tea. All right.
Sorry, I got excited about the cup of tea being near you.
So one of the things that I was thinking about today is just kind of letting our worries and our tensions,
dissipate.
Yeah, just get them out of here. We're gonna paint, and we can talk more about that as we're painting. So, okay, let's get started. I'm gonna use my journal. This is a project we did last time and the time before. Beautiful. So you can go check out those videos. And I'll just turn to the next page. The first step is going to be the gesso. So we're going to start spreading out our gesso with a palette knife and adding some textures. So I want you to think about, now if you want to place your tree where I did, that's great. If you want to put your tree somewhere else, that's fine too. Just think about the placement of your tree as you're putting your gesso on the page so we can kind of build up those textures like we want. And I think I might have, this one is, it's lighter. I can feel that it's lighter because I've been using it because it's good stuff. I'm going to grab the one that's heavier. I don't know, I have plenty of gesso. White gesso. Okay, so I just put a little bit of that on my palette, grab my palette knife, and I'm gonna just put some of this on here, smoothing it out. I'm just gonna get a good layer on it, and then I'll worry about like my texture. And you can put that on your palette, or you can literally just put it right on, which is what I'm gonna do there, because I know that's kind of where I want my tree. I'm actually gonna take that off for a minute. So just getting our gesso. I can tell my elbow is gonna knock my X-Acto over there. Get that.
Cut your sleeve.
Well, maybe, or it could just fall on the floor and on my toe or something. Okay. Kind of like the idea of that being kind of smooth, and then my tree having some texture. Oh yeah, I'm liking that texture.
Oh, that's cool texture.
And then, you know, maybe my roots are going to be kind of something like that. You know, this doesn't have to be like perfect. It's just kind of laying the foundation for what we're making. Liking that. Can you see that? Is that?
Yep. If you want to push it up a little bit, we'll be able to see on side cam too.
I can move the shadows out of the way. So yeah, just getting a little texture. Now I'm going to be thinking about my branches coming out here.
So you're getting that tree ready before you even paint.
Yeah, I like the idea of having the textures there. Now, you don't have to do that.
That's an excellent idea.
And then maybe I want some little, I'm just going to use my finger, some little softer dots up in here. So my foliage that I have peeking through might have like a little bit of texture. We'll see. See how we like that. Just have fun with it. Because whatever we paint over it's going to be great. Like, this doesn't have to be like really thought out, like masterpiece or anything. It's our journal. We're just having fun. Yeah, I like that. See how that's coming together?
Oh yeah, nice. That looks great.
Okay, so you can give yourself a minute to get a snack, or you can try to move my drink out of the way. That was the sound of my ice in my drink.
A backup beverage.
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna hit this with the heat gun, see if we can dry this.
Nice hand dryer.
hands are a little cold, so it works out.
It's chilly back here again.
It is kind of like about the same temperature as one of those dryers for your hands, I would say.
Are there hand dryers?
Like in a bathroom?
Oh, okay. I was still thinking that size and a portable one. I was like, no way.
You got excited.
I want one of those.
I'm just gonna smooth this out. Yeah, I like that. All right. Okay, I got way more texture on my tree trunk this time than I did last time, so this will be fun to explore. I'm doing the back of my page in case you're wondering, because it kind of helps it not buckle too much in one direction. That makes sense. Now this probably needs a little bit more time to dry. When you're drying this, it's drying it from the outside. So like that crust of it is dry, but if you press it, it might still be soft because the paint underneath it hasn't completely dried yet. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. Like you got too much heat on a cake or a pan of brownies and the crust cooks too fast. It's mushy inside.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, that feels dry. Okay, let's mix our colors that we want. I'm just going to bring this over here so you can see some of the colors we mixed. This is a fun thing to do in your journal too, is just mixing your colors and seeing what you're going to get, and that helps me remember how to achieve those colors again. So great. So when I get new supplies, I'm always doing swatches in my journals.
I love swatches.
So I'll bring this down here.
One of my favorite things to look at actually is a swatch, like paper. It's not even a painting or a shape or completed object. It's just swatches because it's just satisfying palette.
Yeah, I like to see my palette when I'm done. Like.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did a little fuchsia, a little cheddar. This is apricot. And then marine. I'm just going to use my, I'm just going to wipe that gesso off my palette knife because I'm going to need my palette knife for Yes paste in a little while. So that'll be all ready for me later. Okay. So I'm going to mix this marine with the cheddar. We get like that nice mossy green. Are you being able to see this on the camera?
Yep, mixing looks great.
Okay, and then if we mix the marine with the fuchsia, we're going to get a really pretty purple. Oh, I love that purple.
That is a wonderful color.
And then when you add the apricot to that purple, you can get like a nice little lavender.
Ooh.
Kind of a peachy lavender, which is nice. I like that color. And then you can calm down that cheddar because it's pretty orangey cheddar with a little apricot too. Just kind of softens it. Still kind of buttery, but not as crazy. See that?
Yeah, that's
so it's going to be a nice color for us.
It's like a queso dip. Mm-hmm. You know, it went from straight cheddar to queso dip.
The queso I just bought at Costco was more of a white, but it was good too. I was just thinking, like, I know what you're talking about, but my last queso was not.
It wasn't really.
Okay, and then you can add that apricot to the fuchsia and get like a nice pink, that light pink. Isn't that nice?
It's very soft.
And you can add that to that green, some of that color that we mixed here, and get even nice lighter green. So I just wanted to show you all those colors because I might forget to tell you what I want to mix in when I'm doing there. So, and this can just be kind of a fun little warm-up exercise for you. And we let our gesso dry even more while we're doing that.
Nice.
Okay, so we got our colors ready to go. And now we can, let's see. we can do some drawing on our, there it is. It was hiding under my palette. I'm like, I know I have this pencil. Okay, to define our tree. So I'm just going to come right in next to where I made the texture. And I'm gonna follow it. And I'm not gonna make it like all straight because trees are just wonky, right? So these lines can be wonky, they can be whatever.
Trees are wonky.
Can be wonky. Wonky tree. Okay, and then I kind of like the idea of the
wonky tree.
Roots and whatnot with the ground kind of being all good here, like that. I'm liking that. Might have one that kind of goes like that. And then, I don't know, kind of a root coming out here. So we're just sketching this stuff in.
There's something that's so nice about a tree. I'm not sure what it is, but it brings life to a page if you just draw or paint a tree.
And you can kind of loosely add a couple lines there too if you want. We can kind of go back and do those details later. I'm going to just kind of go with this root right here because I have a little texture of that gesso.
Oh, that looks good.
Thanks. Oh, this is coming in here. So I kind of like to think about how the limb and the tree connect. So it's kind of like a little bend. So those kind of V shapes will help you get that shape as you're sketching it. Nice. And don't worry so much about trying to make it look like this tree. Actually, what would be great is if you're, in a place where you can look out your window and see a tree, like use a real tree for reference. This limb just turned out to be 3. I don't even know how that happened, but I just went with it because I think that happens in nature. It's okay.
It does. I've seen it.
Right, and then maybe we need another limb like right in here. And maybe this guy's gonna split off and get a branch that's gonna go like that way,
Oh yeah.
And then this branch might have another branch that goes off like that. Seen that kind of happen where it's kind of like this shape.
Uh-huh. Silly trees.
They're just growing. They're not asking any questions about.
They're too busy.
Yeah, they're just going for it. That's what we're doing. We're just going for it.
We should be more like trees. We're just busy growing.
Yeah, I'm liking this. It's kind of cool. Okay, so wherever your tree wants to go, just go with it. This was kind of my favorite part of doing this project, was just sketching the tree and thinking about the limbs and where they go.
I'm happy with where it's at right now.
Should I stop?
Just stop. This is it. Thanks for coming today.
I thought you meant like stop the tree. You're overworking it. Like what?
No. The entire project.
And see how these rough textures are giving us some kind of good.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. Okay, and the cool thing about this pencil is when you wet it, you can get some neat things too. So I'll show you that. And I'll even show you the kind of the difference with a Lyra pencil in case you got one of those.
I think I used one of those in my first couple pages of journal.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. So this is that one. And the thing about it is I just think it's a little bit harder to get like detail in there, but that's why I like this. Okay, so we can keep losing my stuff under my tray. Get our brush wet, not soaking wet, but just wet enough where we can come in and see how that kind of just softens up the So then it's like a little bit more like ink.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yes,
I love
it
it.
is.
I never get tired of doing this. You can leave some of your lines not soft for texture, and you can wet some of them this way and kind of blend it out. Isn't that nice? And we can darken up the value a little more as we keep working. I just wanted to give you an idea of what you're working with here. And we can kind of just dab these, and then you kind of get little places where maybe there's like a little bud on that branch, you know, when you just hit it with water, just like a little bit. Some of the traces of the lead just kind of do their own thing, and that's really neat too. Cool textures. I've always enjoyed drawing trees, and I find it very relaxing.
It is very relaxing.
Okay, we can keep darkening up as we go, but I think it'll be fun to start painting at this juncture.
Yeah, nice tree.
I think I'm going to start out with my kind of, oh, my paint's drying already. Sorry if I had you mix your paint and it's dry now. It's okay, you know what to do. We can mix more, it's okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow in here so that it kind of feels like this sun's sort of going down and warming up this location that we're in. I'm going to add some of that in just different places. And I think the key to making this feel like the sun's shining through is to leave spots of white too. So you don't have to cover every bit of everything that's happening, just kind of a sprinkle of light coming in. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
All right.
Like highlights.
Yeah, because maybe there's some foliage, but the light is kind of glaring out your view a little bit
This is a
of
good
what's
nap
happening.
tree.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move my clip for now so we can get our yellow in here. And you know, I like to have a little touch of color in other places just to give it some consistency. So we'll put a little yellow over here. Maybe in here. So that feels good. Okay, well, let's get our pink in there. I kind of let that dry too, but that's all right. We'll do some more. Add our pink. Oh, yeah. And when it mixes with the yellow, you get a nice orange, kind of peachy color, which is cool. Oh yeah. Okay, let's mix some more pink. That was fuchsia. And our apricot gives us a nice warm pink. Because the apricot has a little yellow in it, you know, so that's kind of nice. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more water in my brush. There we go. I mean, let's really get in some more pink in here. Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's a vibrant pink.
And if it's feeling too vibrant, like you want to warm up to this, that was too much for you, you can always take your, because this is straight on the gesso, it's not on the page, so it's not soaking in the paper, you can kind of rub some of that away, because our gesso is our friend that way when we're building textures and we're painting. Isn't that cool?
That's super cool. Gesso to the save, of the day. Save the day.
Yeah. So there you go. You can just warm up to that pink if you want. That feels nicer for you. I'm gonna mix in that yellow a little bit right there. See, I had to warm up to it too. I went to it and then I was like, oh. I like the idea of there being a little purplish pink in here. Oh man, my paint dried.
Oh dear.
Yeah, acrylic will do that to you. Especially if you do that thin amount like I did. I just barely had any on there. And I'm gonna put a little purple over here. Maybe right in here. This is a little bit darker purple. Oh yeah.
The color makes me think of the cherry blossom tree color.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to make some of this fuchsia and get a little orange because I want a little bit of that in there. Oh yeah. Like that. A little bit of that in there. Now I'm going to rinse all the paint off my brush and I'm just going to work on moving that paint around now.
What is your favorite season?
Oh, it depends on where I live.
Okay.
When I lived on the Gulf Coast, I loved spring because the azaleas would just, I mean, steal the show of everything in the world, I feel like. It was just amazing. Yeah, I really liked spring there. In March, it was amazing.
Spring in March.
I mean, things just came alive and it was like really
Just gorgeous.
lush and thriving
Yes.
and flourishing. I just really liked that. I love summer. I think I have a lot of cool memories attached to summer. Yeah, because, I don't know, watermelons, swimming, and going boating. We used to go to the Berry Islands when I was a kid with my dad on his friend's sailboat. I loved doing that. And, you know, as an adult, like living in Utah, we would go to Lake Powell in the summer when I lived there, and I loved that.
What's spring like in Utah?
It's pretty cool. I mean, there's no azaleas.
It's not the same.
It's different. It's definitely different than. And then, you know, after the spring in the south, it gets real hot. So I think I probably enjoyed the summer more in Utah than I did in the south, because it wasn't as humid. So we're just moving these colors around, just kind of seeing where they take us. No big deal. And you'll see it kind of recedes with the gesso, so we get nice, cool textures in there from where our gesso lines are.
Gesso really is a super cool tool.
I feel like this is like a tree that's warming up to spring, because it, you know, might not have a lot of leaves on it. The sun's going down, but we're starting to see like signs of spring with a little grassy, mossy kind of stuff happening. And
I can see that.
And I like the idea of just maybe putting a little bit of this green and letting it drip. Let's see if I can get it to drip. It's kind of a loose, yeah, like that.
I had an idea.
What's your idea?
What if you use the gesso, you put the gesso on there, nice, kind of a thicker layer, all even, and then you take a comb to it. And you pull the comb down the page. So
Yes,
as you
you could get some neat textures
get
with
some
that.
cool textures.
I kind of put some blotches down, and now I'm just gonna just add water and kind of let some of them run together. And then if you want, you can wipe away a little bit to leave some white in your composition, not competition. This is not a competition.
Unless you're racing the paint to not dry.
Oh my goodness. All right. I hope I'm telling you enough about my process, or you can, I don't know, sometimes when I start painting, I stop talking. So hopefully I'm giving you enough information here. I'm gonna put some more of this peach color up here, because I'm really liking that peach color. And maybe sprinkle a little bit more of that throughout this.
I think you are, Jesse. This has been very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it fun? Does it make you want to paint when you watch someone else paint?
Every single time.
I just feel so calm right now. And I love that art makes me feel that way.
I just keep thinking I need to get some gesso.
Well, I know where you can get some.
You do?
Yeah, there's this art store online called Let's Make Art.
Art? Let's Make Art?
Yeah. Also, I have some on my desk upstairs if you want to borrow some. Okay, so then I'm mixing in a little purple in between that rusty color up there. And maybe I just want a little darker value up there, just to kind of give us that idea that, you know, there's light here, but there's sort of a vignette thing happening. I don't know.
I like the vignette look.
And maybe we need a titch of green just for fun right in there, just to neutralize some of that purple. And what I mean by that is when you use the opposite color on the spectrum, it kind of takes the intensity or brightness from the color. In this case, it kind of gave us like a muddy brown, which I'm okay with. Add a little bit of that there. I think maybe we need a couple of drops of green in here, like something started to happen, you know, with this tree. Just a little dabs of green. Now that water sits right on top of the gesso because it's not going to soak in like it does with the paper, so you got to kind of blend it and move it around and see what happens. Experiment. There's nothing wrong, nothing bad's going to happen with your tree. It's going to evolve, and just going to see where it goes. And that's going to be great. Maybe a little green in here too. Got some foliage happening with the light. Okay, and at this point we can probably do a touch of green on our tree and wipe that down.
Ooh, that looks good.
We can darken the value of our tree. So if you want to have dark, so on this one, I have some really dark branches. If you're liking this lighter value, then leave it. I think that's cool too. But for this tutorial, since I made this, I'm going to go darker with it.
All right. I mean, I like both of them.
And this can it's going to turn out however it's going to turn out. And that's why I said, let the worries and tensions, just let them just
fly away like birds.
Have a good time. There was that quote, we were talking about this earlier, the Rashika Jane quote.
Yes.
About worries and tensions are like birds. We cannot stop them from like flying near us or hanging around, but we can certainly stop, I'm trying to remember, them from making a nest in our mind. So if this is your tree and you got some worries, you don't have to let that nest in your tree. You can just keep on painting and have a good time with it.
Yeah, it's 100% accurate. Just keep going.
I feel kind of nerdy saying that. It's all right.
No, that's great.
I think this is definitely one of those more mindful kind of art sessions when you're making something like this tree, and just the whole idea of the wabi-sabi, like an impermanence, and we can just see where it takes us, see where we land with it.
Let it be what it wants to be.
Yeah, just exploring. I just love that, like kind of being open to things and that feeling of making in that way. I think maybe there's some just like little roots or something happening here on the ground.
Totally.
That was one thing when I lived in Louisiana, you know, it was like a lot of trees and lush green everywhere. And I often noticed these like microscopic details of like moss between the roots on a tree, and just really beautiful, like how moss does. I would notice things like that. And when I moved to Utah, it was like this expansive landscape with big sky country and mountains. And I started noticing like macro details and like this sunsets and the way the light hit the top of the mountains. And it's interesting how where you live can change like what you pay attention to. And what is impermanent, and really struck me in Louisiana was very different in Utah, and now even different in Missouri.
I like that a lot, actually. Because that makes sense. When I have visited Utah, I pay a really hard attention to the mountains because there are none here.
Yeah.
What did you notice about Missouri that was something maybe Utah didn't have?
The storms and the lightning.
Oh.
And the wind. And the coyotes.
Yes.
And I was staying with my friend Drea, and her house is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and I remember the wind chimes going and the coyotes howling, and I was like, wow, this is a whole other kind of feeling. Okay, so a little darker.
I like that one a lot.
And then we can kind of add some darker value here and there with our pencil. To make things recede so that our tree comes forward. So we can kind of add a little more of that in here if we want. And you can smear that. So you don't have to wet it. You can just do like a little lighter value with just smearing, which is fun. And you could go back with your brush on some of these darker areas and blend them out if you like. Look at that. I'm liking that.
Man, the textures from that gesso on the tree are amazing.
Isn't that so fun? It comes out different every time. I don't know what's going to happen.
Super cool.
And even, so this is still wet and I've got pigment on my brush. I can take that pigment and come down here and add a little, spots, whatever. Well, I just had so much fun doing that. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, am I done? Should I keep going because it's so fun? I don't know. I think maybe I need a little, I want to take this orange and have it come down just a little bit more.
Ooh, you could even combo this one. That orange spot makes me think of your doorways project.
Ooh, yeah, like the portal.
Uh-huh.
Magic portals.
Yep. You
projects.
could even magic portal this. Put a door in there.
Heck yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. I like that.
Or this could be where your magic portal takes you because it kind of looks dreamy.
Yeah, it does. I'm just going to put a little bit more purple right in there. And then I'm going to blend it down. Oh my gosh, I can't stop. It's too good. It's too fun. You know when you're in a good spot when you're like, I just want to keep painting. I'm just going to dab some of that off just so it'll dry faster for us so we can do our next step because I'm realizing I'm just painting and we got to do our next step. I'm liking that. I think I want just do a little, I'm just using this side of my pencil to kind of shade this area kind of around. Do little smeary bits and then just want to blend that out. Oh yeah. I might want to do the same over here. Whoop. Let's give this a little darker value. So I'll make some of our lighter values pop. And it gives that idea of the kind of the light dancing around kind of thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, okay, so let's let this dry. We'll put that over here. Totally different tree. I'm so excited.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna grab, so from the collage paper, we have that word impermanent right here. But I like the idea of adding that to that. Now, if you don't like that, leave it off. It's your tree. It's your art journal. But I think it'll be fun. A good little meditative reminder to think about, meditate on impermanence. I like it, I like it. Oh, still good. I got a lot of gesso on my hands. It's all right. Okay, so there it is. So put a little bit of yes paste on here. And I just put a little dab of paste and I just kind of scrape it across so I get a nice thin layer. Just pick it up with my finger. That's always nice. Otherwise I'm like, I can't pick it up. All right. Now you can find a little good home for yours wherever your roots are, you know, right in here might be nice. Or you might like it up there. That could be a nice spot.
Every time I look at it, it looks, something else pops out at me.
Like what?
It's so cool. Well, like the texture, different texture lines come up out of nowhere. It's so cool.
I think we did it, y'all.
Maybe.
Maybe. Didn't that look like it just belongs there? That was like perfect home for that impermanent
It really
word.
is.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I hope you had as much fun painting this with us as I had fun painting with you. I love seeing what you made. So if you guys want to share that, we have a Facebook group. It's just an awesome community of people cheering each other on and supporting each other in their practice of learning and drawing and art journaling and all that. You can find it at Let's Make Art Journals on Facebook. And you can also, if you like hanging out on Instagram, you can hashtag us there. We'll see your work there. And I'd love to hear more about your ideas about impermanence, if you got things to say about that and creating in this way and what it does for you. It's just so fun to be a part of this community. And I love being here. And that's all I got for you right now. We'll see you next time. Bye.